Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. 2 more people who tested positive for COVID-19 in Saskatchewan have died. One was in the 80-plus age group in our Northwest zone, and the other was in the 70-79 age group in the Saskatoon zone. There are 122 new cases in the province, including 6 in the Northwest. All of the new cases are in the immediate Lloydminster area, where we have 79 active cases. The Northwest continues to have the 3rd highest number of active cases in the province, behind only Saskatoon and Regina. There are 144 active cases in the Northwest and 1,371 in Saskatchewan. More than 693 vaccine doses have been administered, including over 45,000 in the Northwest. The Hidden Creek 4-H Club, which runs out of Lloydminster, has to make some adjustments to their regular programs with the COVID-19 pandemic. I spoke with one of their members for more details. The Hidden Creek 4-H Club has been running in Lloydminster for the past 11 years. This year, their meetings transitioned online due to the pandemic, and when they were allowed to meet in person, they had to plan creatively since they are in the border city.
Most of our meetings and our projects meetings have been either outside or on Zoom. The ones that have been in person are with our smaller groups, and we still have masks and we're socially distanced too. So it's all COVID friendly and to the COVID guidelines too.
The members still got to work with their animals, but a lot had to be done from home. Certain groups like canine and horse were able to train, but they had to be in smaller groups. This year, the club didn't get the chance to hold their regular expo due to the regulations, so they took part in Achievement Day.
We started by doing each individual exhibit for each of our members, and we had it spaced out with masks, and we had in like a really, really big room at the exhibition grounds. And so we started that way doing that, and we had a lot of fun. And then our judges came in individually in their own family groups, like not mixing up or anything.
Since a lot of their meetings were virtual, their members still had the opportunity to participate in communication.
There's a couple different levels, like there's general, so with your individual club, and then there's with other clubs coming together. So this year, instead of actually going to different places to compete, we did it all over Zoom, and it was actually really productive, which is surprising because it's over Zoom. But yeah. And a couple of our members placed, and some of us got first and second. So
the Hidden Creek 4-H Club has a few summer programs available and are hoping to return back to normal in 2022. Border City Connects Ripfest will be returning to the Lloyd-X this Father's Day weekend. Jace Mackey has more on what residents can expect for this year's event.
After a successful first year in 2020, Ripfest is coming back to Lloydminster this June. To talk a little bit more about this year's event, I'm joined by Border City Connects Director Glenn Fagnan. Now, Glenn, I say that last year's event was such a success because there was such a buzz. There was so many lineups at the Lloyd-X during the 3 days that Ripfest was here in town. But how successful was things last year when it comes to raising money for Border City Connects?
It was very good. I mean, obviously the Ripfest is traditionally an outdoor event where you have bands and entertainment. You've got beer tents, and so of course the drive-through, that was the first time that was attempted there last year, and it turned out to be very successful, a lot more successful than we had anticipated, with over 3,000 vehicles and 10,000 people coming through the gates in 3 days. And there was a really good buzz, and I think that the quality of the product and the speed of the service was key, because we had just such positive reviews on all social media on all fronts.
So when will the 2020 edition of Ripfest take place?
So it's coming up in June. So it's June 18th to 20th, which is the Father's Day weekend, which we're very pleased to have, and hopefully that's going to be our weekend for all the events in the future. And that's going to be held once again at the Lloyd Exhibition Grounds.
Now, last year things were done in a COVID-safe manner, having a drive-through format. Is that the same way that it's going to be this year?
It is. Yes, it is. And we're going to have that in 2021, and hopefully in 2022 that'll be back to the regular type Ripfest. But yes, we are following all the Saskatchewan protocols on safety and for the COVID-19.
So for when people are going to be coming this year, is it going to be similar to last year where they just kind of drive up? They don't need to do anything ahead of time?
That's it. Yeah, we'll have the menus will be on, on our website, and they can go in and preview those. But yeah, it's just going to be drive up and drive through. We're going to have 8 lines like we did last year. We're very fortunate. We've got the same 4 rib trucks that are coming up, and we know the quality and the speed of their service. So yeah, we're pleased to have those 4 coming back again.
Now, the money from this is going to be going towards Border City Connects. Now, a lot of people in the community know the work that they do, but for those who don't, can you kind of go through some of the stuff that Border City Connects does to help support people in the community?
Sure, you bet. I mean, well, the Border City Connects, we changed the name traditionally for the last 40 years. It was known as the Handyvan Society, Lloydminster Handyvan. And so we changed it a couple of years ago. So we do have that service that we provide with our Border City Express to individuals that have both mobility and intellectual challenges. We have the Border City Caravan that takes local community members to medical appointments as far east as Saskatoon and west as in the greater Edmonton area. We have our Trishaw bicycles that we take seniors for rides on a tricycle that has a large compartment up front, and it gets people out and in the fresh air. We've got our mobile, a paragolfer, or a paramobile is what we call it now. That's used for individuals that have challenges with legs, standing up, amputees, and they're able to elevate themselves in this cart to swing a golf club, to shoot a rifle, archery, just a number of different sports, or go to a graduation and stand up and give a speech. So that's what we do. And we've got another great program starting there, Jace, as well, called Drive Happiness, that will take local seniors for run errands for them in Lloydminster, in the city itself. And that'll be starting in June. So we do lots with a whole array of individuals within the community, and some are just less fortunate.
That's good to hear. And it's been nice to see all the different stuff that Border City Connects is introducing to the community to help support some people who are maybe a little bit disadvantaged. Now, Glenn, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me. Now, I'm very excited for this year's event, and hopefully we can get it back again in 2022 and have that kind of a bigger festival kind of format.
Well, thank you very much, Jason. And of course, Stingray, we thank them for their great support all the time.
Now our Connor Chan will take a first look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much there, Jasmine. Looking at temperatures right now, it's getting a little cloudier. We are expecting some showers within the next hour or so. It's not going to start really pouring rain until that 7 o'clock range, but it's making its way from west to east, as we do see a little bit of activity going more so in the Edmonton areas. But right now, the wind was definitely a highlight of today, where we saw wind gusts get over 40 kilometers an hour. We could see wind gusts get a little higher than that tonight, seeing possible areas seeing 60 kilometer an hour winds, but 15 degrees right now for our daytime high right now. Take a look at some other temperatures here in the immediate area. 14s in Vermilion, Marwayne, and 11 out in Vegreville, 9 out for St. Paul, 10 up in Cold Lake, and then going over to Saskatchewan, a little bit warmer in some spots like North Battleford, sitting at 19 degrees, 18 in Macklin, 17 degrees in Maidstone, and then 14 in St. Walburg. Now here's a look at the satellite radar map. I'll shift over more to the Alberta side because that's where the majority of it is going to happen. We are going to see chances of some thunderstorms this coming weekend, but not a whole lot of rain. So we will still see some showers, but not a whole lot of heavy rain. There's a little bit of a cold front that's moving from west to east, and that's how we are going to get that rain fall later around that 7 o'clock mark. Like I mentioned, that's going to carry over for a little bit. It's going to be in some spurts from around 7 to 9 is when we're expecting that period of rain. So be ready for that. And of course, it is also going to potentially rain heading into tomorrow as well. So looking at North Battleford overnight, that system's going to move out eastbound into Saskatchewan. So 7 degrees overnight with 19 degrees tomorrow for the daytime high in North Battleford. Continuing on those same showers in Cold Lake, it's 6 degrees with some going into 19 degrees, for the daytime high for tomorrow. And then for us here in Lloydminster, 6 degrees overnight. And we will see more rain continuing possibly continuing on into tomorrow with that high of 19 degrees. Looking ahead to those next 3 days, we are going to get back to gradually warm temperatures as we are going to increase over the next couple of days. So 23 degrees on Sunday and then 24 degrees on Monday as we start to get a little bit clearer skies in the forecast. That is a look at your weather for now. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
The AJHL and their 15 teams have announced team award winners. With more on the team's MVPs and other awards, here's Evan Kenny.
3 Lloydminster Bobcats are being rewarded for their play on the ice, while 1 is being rewarded for his efforts off the ice. While the Bobcats season was short, these players made their mark. 20-year-old captain Gunnar Kinneberg won team MVP as well as the team's top defenseman. Through 7 exhibition games and 2 regular season, Kinneberg put up 5 points and was a defensive presence.
Well, Gunnar was one of the biggest trades that I made since I was here, and you know, when we brought him in, we knew what we were getting out of him. You know, on the ice for 2+ years for us, he logged a lot of minutes and was the elite defenseman in our league. And I think you know, you look at that, a lot of pieces go into play, not only the hockey player, but the person off the ice, and he fit all those, and you know, he did great things here, and looking forward to his future too as well.
After finishing his minor hockey career leading the AMHL in goal scoring, Ethan Aucoin continued his offensive flair. Aucoin finished first on the team in goals and points, en route to winning the team's top rookie and forward awards.
His love for hockey is another part too that I think is a lot of fun for our guys. You know, he loves the game, he loves to play it. He has a lot of fun doing it, and that's a big part. Another potential returnee next season, Colby Thornton, won the honors of the team's top goaltender. You know, knowing you had him back there all the time was a big part of it, and a calming factor to our guys, and just the maturity in his game. You know, he's a pretty exciting goalie. He's a high energy goalie, you know, which is fun. It adds to the practices where he competes really hard with their guys, whether it be a shootout or a normal drill. You know, it was a big season for him, and you know, the exciting part for us is we get to have him back for a 20-year-old. And finally, for his efforts in the classroom, Javen Leslie is being recognized on the all-academic team. You know, Javen definitely, you know, a tough grade 12 year, not being able to have your regular classes and those kind of things. But, you know, he found a way, he was dedicated, he stuck to it. And when you're having right around that 95%, you know, average, that's huge. And that's going to open up opportunities in the future for him. Out of the 4 award winners, Kinneberg is the only one to graduate from the team, leaving a solid base for the team to build on next season. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take another look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Looking right now, still seeing around 15 degrees, a little bit cooler temperatures, of course, with a lot of those showers making their way through west to east in most parts of Alberta as well as into Saskatchewan. As we are expecting that rain within the next few hours or so for at least a little bit, and then we are going to see that pick up tomorrow potentially as well. But moving out west, a little bit cooler than seasonal temperatures there. So 12 degrees in Edmonton, 10 up in Athabasca and Whitecourt there, 11 in Edson and Jasper. Moving over into Saskatchewan, it's a little bit warmer for right now at least. 19 degrees in North Battleford and Saskatoon, 21 in Prince Albert, and then 17 degrees in Melfort. Taking a look to temperatures up in the north, 14 degrees in the Losh, Buffalo Narrows, 19 degrees in La Ronge right now, 8 degrees all the way up in the far north of Uranium City. We could see a lot more rain activity in those northern parts of Alberta, pick up a little bit more. There are little risks of some thunderstorms in some areas in northern Alberta and Saskatchewan as well. So looking at northern Alberta temperatures right now, 10 degrees for Fort Chipeway and Fort McMurray, a little bit warmer in high levels, sitting at 19 degrees, 11 in Slave Lake and 15 in Grand Prairie. Looking at southern Alberta, a little bit warmer than most of us here, so 17 for Calgary, 18 in both Coronation and Medicine Hat, 14 degrees in Lethbridge. Moving to southern Saskatchewan, excuse me, as I get a little tongue-tied there. 19 degrees in Swift Current, 22 in Moose Jaw, and then 20 degrees in Regina. Yorkton and Estevan both sitting at 17 degrees. Those southern parts of Saskatchewan may not see a whole lot of rain, as we will see see over those next 24 to 48 hours. 19 degrees in Winnipeg right now. Big drop off in Ontario as Toronto now sits in single digit temperatures as they are getting a little bit cooler there. So with some cloud coverage at 6, 9 degrees in St. John's. Going into Vancouver, 16 degrees right now. So still fairly warm for the most part. 14 up in Yellowknife and then 13 in Whitehorse. And of course, Edmonton already still seeing some showers happening right now. Now looking at what we could see for tomorrow, we could see some of those showers come back, but our daytime high for tomorrow is around that 19 degree mark, as we'll see that number as well is in Maidstone and Vermilion. 20 degree marks, we'll see that in Wainwright and Provost. 19 also will be another common number we see up in the north areas like Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Lac-La-Biche. Edmonton also seeing 19 degrees for tomorrow. And then we'll also see that in North Battleford as well as in St. Walburg, and then 17 degrees up in the far north areas of Isle of Cross and Green Lake. Now taking a look here at the next 7 days, we are going to get back to some warm temperatures, which means could possibly be some much more drier conditions, going back to kind of what we saw before that massive rainfall we saw on that long weekend, as we get to some 24s on Monday and Tuesday, 29 degrees on Wednesday, so it is going to warm up quite a bit there, and then 23 degrees on Thursday, and then 21 degrees on Friday to wrap up the 7 days. That's a look at your weather for now. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Joining me for Primetime Local News is Shaylin Brown with Pet Value Lloydminster. Thanks again for joining us today. Now, this month is Pet Appreciation Month at Pet Value, and you are all raising donations for the Lloydminster and District SPCA. When can people donate until?
So this event is actually going until June 25th. However, we always accept donations throughout the year. We usually donate product throughout the year, but this specific time, we accept cash.
And can you expand more on what's involved with the weekly contests and giveaways?
Yeah, so throughout the 4 weeks, we have this large contest. So you have a chance to win a cat tree or a dog bed full of goodies. And then every week we have a mini contest, which will include a kids coloring contest starting next Monday. And then we also have a couple little gift baskets as well throughout the month.
And how many years has Pet Value celebrated Pet Appreciation Month?
As far as I can remember, I want to say about 10 years, something like that. Yeah, it's one of the bigger fundraisers for sure.
Now, is this the first year that Pet Value Lloydminster is raising money for the SPCA?
No, as long as we've been open for about 5 years now, all of our donations go directly to the SPCA. And this particular fundraiser also, we didn't have it last year due to COVID, but the year before that, we actually raised $4,500. So this year we're hoping for $5,000, but we definitely want to blow that out of the water as well.
So would you say in previous years the support was really strong from Lloydminster residents?
Yeah, absolutely. The community of Lloydminster is absolutely outstanding. We see an increase every year for sure. I think a lot of people start to realize how important the SPCA is and kind of the work that they do. So like every year, just the community surprises me every year.
What's the main goal that Pet Value is hoping to reach for Pet Appreciation Month, and what are they trying to raise awareness towards?
Definitely the importance of rescuing instead of breeding, essentially. Like if you've ever been there, you just know the sadness in their eyes. Like I just feel like that is truly more important than anything else. Like I feel like the importance of rescuing an animal is just, I just preach it 100%. So I want to make it more aware. Especially I feel like a lot of people forget about rescues also. So whenever somebody asks me, where they could get an animal, I'm like SPCA, 100%.
And how can people enter these contests for whoever isn't aware?
So you can just come down to Pet Value. We take cash donation. So as of right now, the large contest is $5 for one entry, $10 for three. You can donate cash or product too, whatever one you'd like.
And is there anything else you'd like to add for people to know about concerning Pet Appreciation Month?
Just take a look at all of our contests every week. We'll have something different for sure. And if you want to go down to the SPCA, I highly recommend it. And if you're heading down there, they're always looking for things like towels and laundry detergent, just stuff that a pet store can't really offer. So definitely take a trip down there for sure.
Perfect. Well, thank you again so much for joining me today, Shaylin.
Yeah, of course.
Coming up tomorrow, Progressive Fitness here in Lloydminster is hosting the 4th annual Murph Run, and this year they're raising funds for Let's Walk the Talk to support mental health awareness and initiatives right here in Lloydminster. And the Murph Run, well, you're going to see some athletes taking part in this. It's 2 miles running, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, then 300 squats. But they can modify that for your level of fitness, and they've even got a kids version this year as well. So if you want to get more details or get registered, you can get in touch with Progressive Fitness. And if you'd like to make a donation, you can do that through the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation's website. You've still got time to cook up your favorite pancakes, top them with maple syrup or whipped cream, and take part in the virtual pancake breakfast that's being hosted to raise funds for the MS Society. Share your photo of your delicious pancakes on the Integra Engineering Facebook page, and when you donate $20 to the MS Society through their page, they're going to enter you for a chance to win one of 3 Think Lloyd First breakfast packages, and that includes items from Olive and Birch Designs and Lower Shannon Farms and so much more. So enjoy those pancakes, take part in the virtual pancake breakfast, and help raise funds for the fight against MS. And coming up next week, the Bordertown Hog Chapter is hosting not 1 but 2 steak nights coming up on Thursday and Friday. All proceeds raised will go to their annual toy run, which is coming up this fall. Get your ticket for $25, support a great cause, and enjoy a great meal at the Canadian Brew House. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Well, joining us for the entertainment panel, as always, is Abby St. John. Abby, there's a few things to talk about. Marvel finally released their first full look at their upcoming movie, The Eternals. We did get a little piece of that with the Phase 4 trailer, but now that we get a full glimpse of what Chloe Zhao is going to bring to the MCU, what can we take away from this early look?
It looks spectacular. That's my first opinion on the trailer. It visually looks absolutely stunning. And of course, you have that star-studded cast as well. That just makes everyone excited, especially Angelina Jolie. Everyone is saying just her alone makes them excited for this movie. But they finally dropped the trailer, as you said, and the Eternals are ancient aliens who've been living on Earth in secret for thousands of years. That's how they kind of open it up, introduces them. However, they do state in the trailer that they have chosen not to intervene in any Earth events, and that includes Ultron and of course Thanos. And so a lot of fans have been asking, why didn't they step in, especially after half of the universe was wiped out? So there's a lot of questions still up in the air of, you know, where were they when all of this was going on, all of the events that were going on throughout the MCU already, where were they? And what is going to happen that actually, what is so bad that they're going to come out of hiding? And that is going to be an ancient enemy called the Deviants that they're going to be fighting against. So it's going to be interesting to see how big of a threat they actually are, considering that Thanos clearly wasn't as big of a threat for them to come out of hiding. So those are all the questions that are being left up in the air, but I'm very excited for this movie, and I know a lot of fans are too, because it just looks visually spectacular. And of course, like I mentioned, they have that giant cast: Richard Madden, Gemma Chan, Kumail Nanjiani, Lauren Ridolph, Salma Hayek, of course Angelina Jolie, and Kit Harington, plus among others as well. So I think this movie is going to be one of Marvel's biggest movies so far.
And you mentioned that the visuals as well. We see those beach scenes, we see those big sets and on location shots. It's just absolutely amazing to see. And I know they did drop a little bit about Captain America earlier on and later on in that trailer. So that could be maybe a fun Easter egg for us to kind of dissect later on. Another big news, Abby, we did talk about this before on the panel, that Wonka is going to get an origin story. And by Wonka, I mean Willy Wonka, of course, from the infamous Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory. It was between Tom Holland and Timothée Chalamet. They finally came to a decision, and it's Timothée Chalamet that's going to play the iconic chocolatier. A very interesting move, Abby, in my opinion, but I just want to know what you thought of this casting.
Yes, I also agree. But then again, you know, Willy Wonka has always been that really weird character that is just out there. And, you know, so I would agree that Timothée Chalamet, he has a large range. He's played many, many different types of roles. So I think this was a good choice. And he was their top choice for this film. So the film, you know, it's an origin story of how, prior to how Willy Wonka opened up his chocolate factory. And this will also mark the first time that Timothée Chalamet gets to show off his singing and dancing skills, as there will be several musical numbers in this film. And it's also the third time that Warner Bros. Has taken on the Wonka story. You know, the first one being in 1971, starring Gene Wilder as Wonka, and then in 2005, where Johnny Depp starred as that role. So he has some pretty big shoes to fill in those two actors. So I think he was a good choice. Just looking back at, you know, his different roles that he's able to do, he has that range that Johnny Depp has. So I think it was a good choice, but it will be interesting to see his dancing and singing skills, as like I mentioned, we haven't really seen those before. So the whole movie in itself is going to be interesting to watch when it comes out. There hasn't really been any details of the plot as of yet. So once we get more information and even more cast members announced, it will start to come together and we'll be able to see what to expect.
And like you said there, with his singing and dancing chops being displayed, I mean, if we all want to go on YouTube, we can definitely find him in his old rap persona days that we can see his singing there. But we did kind of see a little bit of his singing on SNL, which I did very much enjoy there. One of the last things, Abby, we're talking about, the Sex and the City revival starting to gain a little bit more traction, as another notable name is going to be added, and a big piece to that name is going to be added to that reboot there.
Yes, Chris Noth, who played the notorious bachelor with major commitment issues, Mr. Big, has been confirmed. He is returning as the character, because a lot of fans were speculating back when it was announced if he was going to return or not. We finally have confirmation that he will be returning as that role. And executive producer Michael Patrick King went on to say, how could we ever do a new chapter of Sex and the City story without Mr. Big? Now, that was also coming as a fact that we know that one of the four main women, Kim Cattrall, who played the sexually liberated Samantha, she won't be returning. So it's nice to know that another former original cast member will be joining the cast, because they have a huge hole to fill in Kim Cattrall's absence, because she was one of the most iconic characters on that show. So they have a massive hole to fill and a lot of questions to answer, which we don't know as of yet. But it's nice to know, and it's exciting to know that Mr. Big will be returning as his character. So I'm excited for that. I'm still disappointed that Samantha won't be in this revival, as she, like I said, was the iconic character. But it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this 10 episode revival.
And like you said, it's gonna be interesting because it's important to have those main pieces that started it all and hopefully can round it out and hopefully maybe even potentially finish it if they don't decide to do anything else besides the revival. Abby St. John, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. We could start to see some showers in the next little bit or so. Over the next hour, we could start to see that rain coming down a little bit heavy there, and then we could see a little bit of a break overnight and then carrying that over into tomorrow at 19 degrees, 23 degrees on Sunday. We are going to warm up a little bit more. We're going to get back to those warm but unfortunately dry temperatures over that next week. So 24 degrees for both Monday and on Tuesday, 29 degrees Wednesday, so we're going to have a very warm day there. We are going to clear up a little bit more also next week as well, and then 21 degrees on Friday to wrap up that 7 days as we are going to start to see a little bit of cloud coverage. There is also a little bit of a chance of some potential thunderstorms for this coming weekend.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great rest of your night.